Hello, music lovers, and welcome back to the Woodshed. This weekend, I got to sit in with the Dixie Dregs, and if you know me and you've heard my music, you know how much Steve Morse means to me and the Steve Morse Band and the Dixie Dregs. So without further ado, let's get into it. All right, so first things first, let's roll some footage. I'll show you a couple of pictures. Here's about a minute of the jam with Steve. Roll it. All right, so let me tell you how this came about. I, like every other musician in Nashville, wanted to go see the Dregs. Like, they're on tour and they're announcing dates. And a friend of mine, Joe Wyatt, was like, "Hey man, let's go see the Dregs. It'll be awesome." I was like, "Man, I hope that I can. It's in the middle of touring and I've got a new record coming out and I just don't know if I can get away or whatnot." So luckily I could. And so Joe had second row. Well, at the Woodshed experience last year, which I'm wearing the hoodie for, woodshedguitarexperience.com, Jordan Rudess came and hung out. That's the keyboard player from Dream Theater, obviously. And, we became kind of friends and friends with John Petrucci and that crowd. And so I texted Jordan. He's playing keyboards on the Dregs gig, and I texted him. I was like, "Hey, brother, I don't need anything. I don't need backs. I don't require anything. I just want to tell you how excited I am to see you play with the Dregs." And the reason I word it like that is because so often is the time people are like, "Hey, I want to support you. Can you get me on the guest list?" I'm like, "You're not really supporting anything if you don't buy a ticket. So buy a ticket to the show," right? Like that's how you support the gig. And often I get the text message, "Hey man, can you get me in? Can you get me on the list?" And like that kind of thing. So it was really important that when I texted Jordan, I was like, "Hey man, I don't want anything. I'm just excited to see you play." About 15 minutes later, I get a call on the cell phone. "Hey, is this Andy?" I'm like, "Yeah." "Hey man, this is so-and-so. I'm manager for Dregs and Steve Morse, and the boys want you to sit in on a tune." I was like, "What?" He's like, "Yeah, did you bring a guitar?" I was like, "Of course not. I'm 15 minutes from the gig. I didn't bring a guitar." He's like, "Ah, it's cool. Steve's got an extra one. Just sit in with him." It's like, "Oh, okay." So I'll tell you about that. I go backstage and meet Steve, and he's like, "Hey man, let's just do an impromptu crossroads. I'll play the head and we'll just get into trading solos." I'm like, "Okay, great." I pick up his guitar. Action was really low. I was really stunned at how low the action was. It played great. And he was like, "I've got, a dry cab and a wet." He's got a wet and a dry. And he kind of rolls in the effects of the delays and reverbs on the wet one. He's like, "I'll just set you up and you just play in the dry one and I'll play the other one." Cool. So, and for those that don't know, when you play guitar, you get used to the way your guitars play. You also get used to your effects and your sounds or your amp or whatever. So it's definitely kicking up the difficulty level to hard mode or legend difficulty if you play Destiny. It's definitely on legend difficulty when you go into a situation like that, and it's a sold out venue in Nashville, Tennessee, and everybody from Andy Reese of the Time Jumpers to, Chuck Ward of Aaron Luce's band, Jim Riley that I work with, Ray Luzier from Korn, they're all in the audience, right? Like everybody under the sun's in the audience, and you want to play good, and you just go, Jesus, talk about a stacked deck of things going against me. I've got to do this like this. So anyways, when I'm going out on stage, they call me up on stage, and I go out to walk on stage. One thing that I forgot was when I looked down, Steve's guitar just has pickups everywhere. Like he's got like 4 pickups, but they're all open coiled pickups. So it looks like there's just rows of coils everywhere. There's switches. He's got 3 or 4 switches on that thing. And I was like, oh my God, what? Like, and I look at him and I'm like, Steve, where's neck pickup and bridge pickup? He goes, oh yeah. Right here. It's here and here. Don't touch anything else. And he just starts laughing, which is good. He's like, don't touch anything else. And he goes to kick off the tune and off we go into the jam. And, I think it's like this, right? With all things involved, it wasn't my Sistine Chapel of performances, but I think I fared decently considering the emotions that were involved with something like that. We've got Steve coming to the Woodshed this year, and I've never spent any time with him. I've never met him. It was the first time I was going to get to see him play live. Like, I've studied his music for 20 years. It's like, hell, man, on my last clinic tour, I've been covering Too Many Notes, which let's roll some footage of that. So obviously I love Steve so much, and it was really, kind of an emotional moment. I'm standing out there and I look up in between solos and I'm like, it's King Arthur and he's got Excalibur, right? He's playing the blue guitar from the High Tension Wires era, the Blue Music Man. And he's smiling and jamming and just, sounding great. I mean, it's like I invite everyone to go see Rick Beato's video. Talking about all the hand surgery and stuff that he's overcome. Man, it's inspiring. Just even to this day, I just feel like he's taken me back to school. It's really, really cool to have that opportunity. And I didn't know what this video would look like. I'm not going to get on here and teach Steve Morse licks. Maybe that's a thing for another day. I've done lessons on that in the past. And I just want to talk about how cool it was, and I hope you guys enjoy the footage. And come out to see us at Woodshed. Woodshed is like my Rockstar Fantasy Camp kind of thing. We have just a handful of slots left, but this year's lineup is bonkers. Like, it's crazy that every year I feel like the lineups are nuts, but this year we've got, obviously, Steve Morse is going to be there, Ariel Posen, Jake Workman, who's a vicious, flat top picker. Andy Timmons is coming back. Tom Quill and Dave Beebe's coming over from England. My buddy Fluff is going to be there. Him from, it's Ryan Bruce. He's killer. And, we got a ton of special guests and manufacturers that are going to be there, and it's going to be really great. So come and hang out with us at Woodshed. And yeah, man, what can you say? You get to go up there and jam with your heroes. It's like, I would have never guessed when I was learning this stuff when I was a kid that this would be the thing. It's like the High Tension Wires record to me was so important, and the Stress Fest record was so important. When I got to hear Steve play, play those tunes. Like he played Highland Wedding. He played, Rising Power from Stress Fest. It's like, oh yes, he's playing the greatest hits, and then the Dregs came out. Of course, you hear Cruise Control, Bash, Going for Baroque, the introduction, all like the big, like iconic tunes. It was really, really special. So yeah, I'll just tag some of that footage in here too, so you guys can see what I captured on my cell phone, and hope you dig it, man. Cheers. All right, if you enjoyed the video, please think about going to patreon.com/AndyWoodenMusic. For just $25 a month, you can join up at the tier that not only gets you access to over 1,000 posts on Patreon that are exclusive to Patreon, but it gets you access to our weekly live masterclass, which is really great. I do it on Zoom, and it's like a Q&A. You can interact and, ask questions, ask topics about music and playing and tone and technique and alternate picking, all those kind of things. So that's at patreon.com/AndyWoodMusic. Go over there and check it out. And if you're interested in things like backing tracks to my tunes, or Axe Effects patches or some of that kind of content, tour dates, all that good stuff, that's at andywoodmusic.com. Now, remember to sign up for the email list over there. I'm not going to bombard you with keychains and stuff like that. I'm just saying sign up for the email list, and it'll give you a heads up for when we release the new record and some of that kind of stuff. Talk to you guys soon. Cheers.